I guess this will be a quick video. It's pretty simple. So when it comes to health in general, there's three ways where you can categorize health and how you can improve it. There's loads of videos out there that overcomplicate it, make it way too complex. But I'll break it down to three things. Obviously, number one is diet. So what you eat, right? So you could say works for both physical and mental. So what you eat physically, obviously the food, and what you feed your brain mentally, which is, in my opinion, and I think if you ask anyone with a brain, is much more important than the physical, right? So that's number one. Number two is just lifestyle in general, the way your activity level, what you do, stuff like that. And then number three is the environment. So that's, I'm looking there, I just got the notes. Number three is environment, like air pollution, your surrounding. Obviously, if you're surrounded by like nature, you got sun, vitamin D, I guess that goes into lifestyle as well. So they somewhat intercept lifestyle and environment to some degree. But yeah, once you have all those three dialed down, there's literally nothing else you could really do to a degree. At least 90% of the work. That's at least 90% of the results just there, right? Diet alone could probably do that, but once you actually have all three combined, all in unity, you'll be set. So again, just to give, I guess, a quick input on what I do: diet, carnivore. That's the best. I don't care what you say, but at least animal based, right? So it doesn't have to be carnivore, because I think it depends on the area, right? For example, if you want to eat fruits, go ahead, eat fruits. Ideally within season, right? Makes sense. And ideally locally, so not imported. Stuff like that. I guess that's just the basic thing. Once you actually, think about it, it's pretty common sense. So just don't eat vegetables. That's just trash. I keep asking everyone, what benefits do you really get from it that you can't get from animal foods? The only thing they mention is fiber, which is not essential. It's trash, and it actually damages the gut lining. Especially when you have people like IBS, issues like that, with stomach issues. You usually have some doctors that just prescribe them to, I guess, recommend them to stop eating vegetables, and then they become better. Again, carnivore is literally known to cure that shit and just cure autoimmune diseases in general. But people are so delusional, they think that it somehow cures autoimmune diseases, so it's somehow good for the short term, but it does damage in the long run. I mean, the philosophy doesn't even make sense. It's just complete stupidity, right? And then there's the hope that diet depends on your blood type, depends on you. There's no one size fits all. I mean, every single creature alive has a diet that fits them all, right? We're animals, we're the same thing as them. Bears eat the same shit. Obviously, there's different types of bears. They eat different types of food, but still the same in like an overview, right? You got bears, I don't know, giraffe, name them, any animal eats the same food. We're an animal, we eat the same food because we all are designed the exact same, right? Biologically and just, I guess, biomechanically, we're the same. So people that say that are just making excuses. So again, at least like 80% of your foods make it animal based. You can eat fruits, I guess, on the side, whatever other shit you want to eat. I mean, you could just have cheat days if you really want to. It just depends on your discipline and your goal. I just don't prefer to do that. I don't see the need about it, especially once you eat good for a while, and then you feel how shit you actually feel once you eat shit food, if that makes sense, right? Most people eat shit food, so they don't really know how bad it actually is, right? Because that's their like norm, that's their standard. They haven't got like a, I guess, polarity or something to compare it to. But once you actually eat good and then you eat shit, like a pizza, you can actually feel it. It's like a huge difference, because it's like a huge polarity shift, or if that even makes sense, like a huge comparison, right? So you have something as like basically you have something to compare it to. Pretty simple, right? Yeah, so you can do what you want with that. I'm just giving you advice on my opinion. Lifestyle, again, just don't do zone 2 cardio, like marathon running. That's just literally been proven to cause heart issues, right? Low intensity for a long time. I mean, as extreme as marathon running that is, there's a reason they die young and they look like shit. Just in every factor, like especially physique. If you were to compare like a sprinter to a marathon runner, huge difference. One looks like it's starving, they're about to pass out any minute. And I think the actual guy that pioneered this whole marathon running thing died young, if I was mistaken. It was someone that just died young, right? And they had issues. They were confused why they had issues before they actually died, obviously. Because I run 26 miles, blah, blah, blah. Not knowing that the only reason they got those issues is because they run that long. It damages the heart, expands it, inflames it. That's probably a better way to put it. But yeah, you should always just do stuff like walking, You know, something like very low. I guess it's not really. You could call it. It's not really exercise, more of movements. I'll put in the category, or do something high intensity, right? So like sprints and sets, rest, and I don't really see why you need to keep any like workout routine longer than an hour. 45 minutes around there is a good time. So I mean, take that as you will. That's just my opinion, and from what I've seen, that's just the best time frame, right? So yeah, and you probably see more other videos with my opinion on gymming, doing this isolated artificial movement that we would have never done ever. Very fake, I guess. It doesn't work without biomechanics. But I guess if we want to build muscle just for looks, for a reason, not just for ego insecurity. For example, like Arnold, that guy can blast gear as much as he want. He made a legacy. He made money. I guess his family generation sorted. His name, pretty much, he's made an impact, right? What he sacrificed maybe 20, 30 years of his life with the roids and stuff. But the life is lived is worth several generations. So just to sacrifice 20 years is worth it, right? Rather than just living an average life, not having the freedom that he has, I guess, stuff like that. And the last one is environment. Basic shit. That's probably the last thing you do, just because it requires money, right? Lifestyle is probably the easiest. No money, just time. Then it's diet, somewhat of a decent money, but you can do it cheap, like a carnivore with like eggs and stuff. It just depends what's cheap in your area. I don't know if it's raw milk, stuff like that. And environment is like the last one when it comes to stuff like air pollution, surrounding like the weather, is there sun, stuff like that. It's pretty basic stuff. So yeah, I guess that's the three main things summarized. So you don't have to keep the shit simple. It's not overcomplicated like most of these guys make, just so they can sell their product or service at the end. It's simple shit.